Welcome back, friends, to the channel. This decode is going to be quite crazy in my opinion because I've been talking a lot about Friday the 13th, which is today, and today I'm going to show you exactly why Friday the 13th today is the day that the Japanese Prime Minister is in Canada yesterday and the United States today. Yesterday he was in Canada meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and today he's in the United States meeting with Biden, okay? Now, the first thing I want you guys to notice is that Biden and Fumio Kishida is the name of the Prime Minister, have a direct match, 125, 62, and 199, and they're meeting today, Friday the 13th, okay? And like I said, Fumio Kishida, the Japanese Prime Minister, was just in Canada last week, or not last week, but yesterday. And now he's in the United States. So let's talk about this Japanese connection, the land of the rising sun, as in the dawning of a new day. And that's what they're telling us. Something is coming that's going to dawn a new world, and probably not one that's going to be very fun. So on July 8th, 2022, at exactly 11:30, like the 113, just like today is January 13th, which can be written 113, the former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated at Yamamoto Sajiji Station, Nara, okay? And again, I told you the Japanese Prime Minister, current one, is meeting Biden in the United States on 113, and the former Japanese Prime Minister was assassinated on July 8th at 113, at 11:30, 113. Notice he has the name Abe, kind of like Abe, like Abraham Lincoln, who was assassinated. And there's going to be one or two numbers that are really going to be big in this decode, the number 189 and the number 113, okay? But that same day, guys, remember I just told you that the Japanese Prime Minister met with the Canadian Prime Minister yesterday, and the same day that Shinzo Abe was assassinated, July 8th, 2022 at 11:30, Canada was having a Rogers internet outage, a power outage of the communications group Rogers. And that was on the same day, July 8th, okay? And that same day, there was supposed to be a simulation by the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab called Cyber Polygon, which was supposed to take again on that same day, but they canceled it. So Cyber Polygon is basically a simulation of cybersecurity against digital attacks. Remember, the other day we just had some sort of outage that caused the planes to have to be, grounded for, a couple hours till 9 on the 11th, like 9/11. So it's interesting that this is all taking place on the 7th of July. Okay, so to just reiterate, on July 7th, 2022, there was supposed to be a Cyber Polygon cyber simulation that was canceled. But that same day, there was a cyber issue in Canada that knocked all the communications down. And that same day, in Japan, Shinzo Abe was assassinated at 11:30, at 113. And now the Prime Minister of Japan is meeting the Canadian Prime Minister and the United States on July 13th, 113. Okay? Now, so that Friday was a Friday, July 8th, when all that happened, to today is 189 days. That's important because July 8th itself was the 189th day of 2022. So today is 189 days after the 189th day of the year. Notice that assassination of Abe, just like Shinzo Abe was assassinated on that day, equals 189. And he was assassinated on the 189th day of the year. Assassination of Abe equals 189. And today is 189 days after the assassination on the 189th day of the year. Now, remember, I told you that Abe kind of sounds like Abe Lincoln. Notice that President Lincoln also equals 189. But what's interesting, guys, is that Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809. February 12th, 1809, kind of like 189. like President Lincoln equals 189. Like assassination of Abe or Abe equals 189. Remember, Abe Lincoln was assassinated. So this assassination of Abe could work for both guys, whether it's Shinzo Abe or Abraham Lincoln. Both of them are connected to this. All right. And also notice that Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12th, 1809, and February 12th is the day of the Super Bowl this year. So the Super Bowl will be taking place on Abraham Lincoln's birthday, which is quite interesting. Now, I told you that Shinzo Abe was assassinated on July 8th at 11:30. Well, notice that if you type out the whole location that he was assassinated at, Yamato Saji Station, Nara, Japan, it equals 311 and 113. Just like he was assassinated at 113, and today is 113. Okay? And the P word was declared on 311. Okay? Also notice that same day was the Rogers internet outage. The same day that, so the place that Shinzo Abe was assassinated equals 113, and the Rogers internet outage that occurred that same day equals 113. All right? Now, the guy who shot Shinzo Abe, his name was Tetsuya Yamagami, and he was supposedly defending or trying to attack Shinzo Abe because he was against the Unification Church, which is a very interesting topic that I might cover in another video. But notice that Tetsuya Yamagami equals 181, 55, 224, and 89, just like Satoshi Nakamoto, another Japanese figure. And Satoshi Nakamoto is the creator of Bitcoin. So this is where the money gets involved. Now, Bitcoin, so what are the chances that the creator of Bitcoin is a direct match to the guy who killed Shinzo Abe? And again, these are all Japanese people. Direct match in 4 ciphers. And notice that Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonymous person, so we don't know who it actually is. It's probably the CIA, to be honest with you. But it's interesting that this guy's name is Japanese, Satoshi Nakamoto, and the shooter of Shinzo Abe is a direct match in all 4 ciphers. Now, the reason I'm saying this, guys, is because today, again, is 189 days after the 189th day of the year when Shinzo Abe was assassinated. And look at what the price of Bitcoin is at today. It's at 18,009, like 189, okay? I mean, just ask yourselves. And I just showed you that the shooter that shot Shinzo Abe 189 days ago, on the 189th day of the year, matches the founder of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, and now today Bitcoin is at 189, just like it's 189 days after the incident, on the 189th day of the year. I mean, just ask yourselves, it's mind-blowing. And now, if that wasn't enough, tonight, this evening, on Friday the 13th, 113, there'll be 2 Canadian wrestlers, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Now, what's interesting is Kevin Owens goes by the nickname KO, kind of like knockout, like knocking out the power or knocking out the internet. And remember, I'm talking about July 8th when Canada lost their internet, like knockout, like KO. Now, both of these wrestlers are wrestling each other tonight, and they're longtime friends, but they're both from Canada, just like the Canada outage 189 days ago. All right? So, Ramy Sabai is the real name of Sami Zayn. He's from Canada, but his heritage goes back to Syria, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And then he's fighting his friend, Kevin Steen, also known as Kevin Owens. They're both Canadian. Again, I just showed you they're in a match tonight, exactly 189 days after the internet outage in Canada. All right? Now, I want you to notice that Friday Night SmackDown tonight on the 13th is taking place in the Resch Center in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And if you do a little research, you're going to find out that this center, Resch Center, where this match is taking place between 2 Canadians, is actually in Ashwaubenon. Ashwaubenon means thither see the dawning. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. that means the dawning or the rising sun. Remember, Japan, I'm connecting Japan and Canada here. And Japan is known as the land of the rising sun. And the place where this match is happening tonight in Green Bay is actually in Ashwaubenon, which means thither see the dawning. And it reminds me, the name Ashes kind of reminds me of rising from the ashes, like the phoenix, Ashwaubenon. Okay? And tonight, on the 13th, in Ashwaubenon, 2 Canadians, which equals 189. Remember, it's 189 days. 189 days after the assassination of Abe on the 189th day of the year, and the same day the Canadian internet went out. And now, tonight, 189 days later, 2 Canadians, which equals 189. Kevin Owens, one of them, equals 189. And the other guy, if you combine his stage name with his real name, Ramy Sabai and Sami Zayn, equals 189. I mean, just think about the chances of this, guys. I mean, this number keeps coming up. And they're having this big match 189 days after their internet outage happened in their country that they're from. And they're Canadians, 2 Canadians facing each other 189 days after the internet outage. And that equals 189. It's just crazy. And they're facing each other in the home of the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers have 13 championships. Today is the 13th. Get it? They're playing in the city that has 13 championships, and today is the 13th, and they're playing in the house of Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, the star quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, that equals 189, just like Kevin Owens, just like Ramy Sabai and Sami Zayn equals 189. What are the chances that they're playing in Green Bay that has 13 championships on the 13th, and they're playing in the city where Aaron Rodgers is playing for, and he equals 189, just like it's 189 days after the 7-8, the day I've been talking about. Okay? If that wasn't enough, if you do a little research on Sami Zayn, also known as Ramy Sabai, his heritage is from Syria. They immigrated to Canada in the 70s, but his family came from Homs, Syria. And again, I told you that if you combine his stage name, Ramy Sabai, and Sami Zayn, his real name, it equals 189. And if you go and do a little research, guys, you'll find that there's a Syrian and Roman god named El-Agabalas. Okay? And he's an Arab Roman sun god. Okay? Remember, I'm talking about the land of the rising sun, Japan and Canada, and this Canadian is from Syria, and their sun god is called El-Agabalas, and it equals 189. I mean, come on. And so let's tie it all together. You have the sun god of Sami Zayn, who's in a match tonight, 189 days later. And the same day, Japan, the land of the rising sun, is meeting the United States one day after he met Canada. And the sun god that comes from the heritage of Sami Zayn, the Canadian, equals 189. Okay? So this is all about the sun, guys, because again, the stadium that's taking place in the city is called Ashwaubenon, which means thither see the dawning. And thither see the dawning is just another play on words to land of the rising sun, which is what Japan is known as. And it ties once again to the Roman god El-Agabalas. I can't say it very well. But it's just crazy, guys. It's all about the sun, the rising sun, the dawn of the new world is what they're telling us. And if that wasn't enough, guys, check this out. So back in August 9th, get it, guys, 8-9, kind of like I've been talking about the number 189. On August 9th, 1945, the United States bombed Nagasaki, Japan. Okay? And I just told you all about how this is tied to the sun and the rising sun and the stadium that this match is taking place in tonight is based off of the rising sun, thither see the dawning. Their mascot, for the team that plays in this stadium, the basketball team, is the Phoenix, like the rising Phoenix. But notice that Nagasaki was Japan, the atomic bomb was on August 9th, 1945. Okay? And that was exactly 28282 days ago before today. And the reason that's interesting is because Sun God equals 82 and 28, kind of like COVID. Notice that Sun God, COVID, Cyber, and Resh, which is the center this match is taking place in tonight, almost have a direct match, all four of those things. Again, I was just telling you that this match tonight and this whole day is about the dawning of the sun, because Japan and this god Elagabalus, and the stadium is, taking place in Ashwaubenon, and it just happens that the sun god equals 82 and 28, just like it's 28282 days from the bombing of Nagasaki. And notice that the meeting of Fumio Kishida, the Prime Minister of Japan, and Joseph R. Biden, the President of the United States, is a direct match to Nagasaki bombing 125 and 62. All right? So again, it's just a crazy, crazy coincidence. Or what people might be called a coincidence, but it's not. It's not a coincidence. So anyways, guys, I hope that made sense. I know it's just sometimes what I find is so unbelievably hard to explain, but I try to do my best. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see what happens today. Again, don't beat me up too much if nothing big happens, but we've already had a lot of confirmation. The big event might not be until later, and I've got other dates that I'm looking at, but today seems to be a huge day to just watch for big news to predict what might be coming. So anyways, guys, take care out there. I'll see you in the next one.